your person on Hinge. Tell us, share with the class, what were the green flags? Okay, I know the red flags. The red flags could not be brighter, but I have sat with so many friends recently going through Hinge or just listening to their dating experiences on Hinge, which have not been great, and just like, what are we looking for? What made you say, yes, I'm gonna give this person a chance, yes, I'm gonna go on a date with them, yes, this date was good, this was great. And don't tell me, you know when you know. I understand that. You know when you know everything. You also don't know anything until you know something. So were there things on their profile? That's one. Were there things that they said? Were there what were the pictures that made you be like, yes? Because at this point, I think it's gotten so discouraging. It's just so discouraging that it's like, I don't even know when will the trumpets sound? Will I know if it's worth a shot? Help us out.
Hey. You know, I hate to break it to you, sister, but if you have to ask other people about the green flags in their online dating experiences, then there's really no hope for you at all. I mean, you'd think that if you've gone through all of the red flags with Chad, Tyrone, Raphael, Marco, Ray, Chang, Wang, Takeda, and Rocket, that you have an idea of what you're looking for. Isn't that the modern woman's playbook? Just fail consistently over everything and then claim your failures have given you experience. But fortunately enough for you, I sometimes take pity on creatures who are severely brain damaged, so I'll go ahead and answer your question for you. What are the green flags? You'll never see them. You're too blind by your own failure, and it's come to the point where you're just going to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. It's online dating. You won't know anything because you'll refuse to learn anything. So, in other words, enjoy your cats, woman.
Women need to stop chasing male validation and male attention because it's completely worthless. I mean, have you ever caught yourself like overanalyzing a text or stressing over a guy's attention or just wondering if you're good enough for him? Well, as a divorce lawyer, I've just seen so many women twist themselves into pretzels trying to be chosen by a man, only to realize too late that male validation is actually the cheapest currency on the market. The uncomfortable truth is that some men will sleep with literally anything. I mean, absolutely anything. There's a reason why morgues hesitate to hire men. Let that sink in for a moment. If a man's standards don't even require a heartbeat, why are you sitting here questioning your worth over his attention?
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby! Don't you put that on us!
Oh, well, you're a fancy schmancy divorce lawyer, huh? Well, I guess you slept through that class in law school where a man is innocent until proven guilty. But I guess it's just one of those legal technicalities that you and your kind only use when it exploits men in divorce court. I mean, it's bad enough that you blame the proud members of the illustrious Bottom 95% Club for the crimes of less than 1% of the male population, but now you're literally accusing us of necrophilia as well. I mean, you can't make this crap up. It really does fill us with the warm and fuzzies that unless we're patrolling the streets of Baltimore with a pipe wrench to stop predators, then we're no better than the guys who are locked up over at Rikers Island. Meanwhile, you get so much attention from men, you've grown bored with it, and you blame us for the boredom. And if that's the case, then get a freaking hobby, woman. And no, destroying men in divorce court doesn't count.
Attraction for a lot of men is about convenience and not quality. They'll entertain anyone who's available because for them, it's not about who you are, it's about where you are. So why are you bending over backwards, changing yourself, waiting by your phone for someone who would entertain just about anybody? The next time you feel the urge to prove yourself to a man, flip the script. Male validation isn't an achievement. It's not a measure of your value. A man's attention doesn't make you special. It just means you're standing in front of him. So instead of asking, does he like me? Ask yourself, do I even respect him?
That doesn't make sense.
Well, no. The answer is no. You have no respect for anybody who doesn't have a pair of X chromosomes, and even then, your respect only goes as far as their wallet. You treat us as if we're nothing but a bunch of morons who just pile up rosters when we're not sitting in our evil lairs and trying to figure out more ways to oppress you. When in reality, you're the one that's promoting the exact opposite here. But I understand why. You are sitting there and pretending to be on a podcast and spewing out this gibberish to plant the seeds of discontent in housewives to encourage them to get a divorce and to use your law practice to get the job done. Which I have to admit, it's a fairly bold business strategy. I mean, it's downright evil. You're breaking up families, encouraging women to make one of the worst mistakes imaginable, and if kids are involved, you are compromising the mental well-being of innocent children just so you can get some extra business. And even though you've done more damage to the world than any of us ever possibly could, we are still going to be the ones you're going to blame for everything. So, you may not respect us, but trust me, darling, the feeling is mutual.
You! I will think of you as I throw up into the toilet.
Does anybody know what the actual we're supposed to be doing with our lives if we're in our like late 20s, early 30s and single? Because on one hand, it feels like I don't have a baby and a family, so I'm doing everything wrong and I'm super behind in life. And then on the other hand, it feels like I really don't want a baby and a family. I just want to go out and drink 5 espresso martinis in one Saturday afternoon with my friends and not feel like I'm in trouble for doing it because my friends are at home with their babies. It's a weird age because you'll hang out with 2 of your friends and one of them's like, I literally need to leave in 30 minutes because I have to go home and breast pump, whatever they call it. And the other one's like, oh my God, my situationship hasn't texted me back in 3 hours. I'm gonna die. And I'm like, I don't know what sounds worse. Tom is like, I don't even know if I want kids. But if I did know for sure that I wanted them, I'd be in the same position of being in this fucking rat race where you have to go out and date a bunch of guys to try to find someone to be with. And it's like, that was cute and fun when I was in my early 20s. I don't really want to be doing that now.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
Right, so in other words, you just want people to stop judging you for getting drunk on a Wednesday afternoon. Well, that's not happening. The judgment is coming from friends who got married and started families. Lady, it's called moving on in life and you're too busy trying to stay in the past. You want an extension of your youth where you can dress up like a harpy, go out, get plastered, and pretend like it's still fun. You've been doing it for so long, you don't know what else to do with yourself, and meanwhile, everybody that you know that you respect have grown up and are starting the next stages of their lives. Meanwhile, all you have to keep you company are your loser friends who constantly complain about the dudes they're currently smashing. If you don't want kids, I mean, that's fine. If you want to pickle your liver, be my guest. It's your life to waste. But stop acting all confused that you're not happy in life because you're jealous that your friends are married with babies and you're still trying to justify living like you're 22 when you're almost freaking 30.
The guys haven't gotten any better. Seriously, my friends are like, I got up at 6 a.m. to make breakfast for the kids and pack lunches. And I'm like, oh, I've been staring at my phone just wondering if this guy likes me or if he has 7 other girlfriends. Like, how are we the same age? And I'm just like, I should just enjoy my freedom because it's Tuesday afternoon, it's a beautiful day, and I just want to go have like 3 cocktails for no reason. And I can. I'll feel guilty about it and I'll wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm a loser. I have 3 kids, a mortgage, and a fucking blue-eyed, blonde-haired husband who works in finance, but I don't. If anybody wants to tell me that it's okay and that I'm not in trouble or behind, it'd be really great. You don't even have to mean it, but I'd appreciate it. Okay, thanks.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
Woman, you are a special kind of dense, so allow me to paint a picture using your favorite pastime, irresponsible drinking. Have you ever been to a raging house party where there's just all sorts of crazy stuff going on? Scudley's doing one of his epic keg stands, you got a chicken noodle fight going on in the pool, maybe there's a Camaro. Now fast forward to the morning. You always have at least 4 or 5 losers who have passed out on your floor and they just won't leave. Yeah. That's you. You refuse to leave the house party and everybody's looking at you and wondering why you have nothing better to do with your life. So you're trying to keep the party going as your friends slowly move on with their lives, perfectly content with their marriages and families. Meanwhile, you still insist on acting like you're in your college years. But here's the thing, that party ended a decade ago and you're still sprawled out on the floor and outstaying your welcome. So do us all a favor and get out of that poor bastard's living room before they call the cops and make you leave.
There's the door, why don't you check it out?
If you had the choice, would you prefer to have a very, very long cuddle session with me? Or would you prefer to be able to live out a fantasy that you have with me? Would you choose cuddles or fantasy? maybe cuddles is your fantasy. But let me know which one you would prefer.
Oh, okay. Well, since you're asking and all, I did have this one fantasy where you got out of my house before I have you arrested for breaking and entering. I mean, I obviously press charges, and you obviously plead not guilty, so we have ourselves a good old-fashioned courtroom drama where I get this kick-ass lawyer. He's either going to be played by Timothy Oliphant or Ian McShane. I haven't decided yet. And during this trial, all sorts of evidence is going to be uncovered about your seedy past where you were a hustler back in Bangkok, and the jury's going to declare that you owe me a sandwich every single day for the next 18 years. But because I'm not an idiot, I waived those free sandwiches because I know you're just going to try to get me with food poisoning. Then I hop into a convertible and speed off into the sunset while blasting Any Way You Want It by Journey. And the weird thing is, I'm not even a big fan of that track. But if you could make my fantasy a reality, that would be fantastic. I'm just gonna be over here recognizing the fine members of the Bounty Board over on Patreon for their generosity, not to mention being some of the best damn subs to ever ride shotgun as we get the hell away from these thoughts in record time. Thank you for your support, Bounty Board. I salute ya. All hail! And if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the Bounty Board over on Patreon, where $5 a month gets you access to exclusive content you're not going to find on YouTube. I'll leave the link in the pinned comment down below for you.
Girls, I've heard the rumor that you go on coffee dates. My mom always told me that you can see how a man actually feels about you by the way he treats the first date. Women often make so many excuses for men. Oh, nobody taught him how to do it. First of all, he's not a toddler. And second of all, when a man really likes a woman, he figures things out. You'd be so surprised. Because let's say, here's Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob invited a girl on a coffee date and he texted her, "Text me when you get home." And she was like, "Oh, he's so romantic. He asked me to text him when I get home. He cares about me so much." There is nothing worse than fake gentleman, because he's pretending to care, but he's not willing to commit an act of care. But same Mr. Bob, if he invites a girl on a date who he really likes, and if somehow magically she said yes, that's where the fun begins.
Check, please.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but modern women have grown so cynical that there isn't a single one of them who thinks that the get home safe text is some grandiose romantic gesture. They just use it as an excuse to be condescending towards dudes. I mean, it's either that or they think it's some type of manipulation tactic that Chad tries to get one step closer to a clogged up grease pipe of endless infections. And that's kind of weird. If a self-respecting man does that to you, you're insulted. But if he does more, then it's the bare minimum. But Chad can look at you and say, you know, I hope you get home without getting hit in the face by a city bus, and then you're already starting to pick out the color of the freaking bridesmaids' dresses. I mean, there's no sense in denying it, sister. You believe that you're entitled to men like that because you exist and all of the invisible men must pay extra. We're not willing to do that. To spend money on you would be to waste it, and that playable version of Final Fantasy III ain't gonna buy itself, sister.
He's not inviting her on a coffee date, because now that man really wants to impress her. And he will be on his best behavior. He will not let her pay. He will drive her back home and then he will text her. And this is the same man. It's just he really likes one girl and he doesn't like the other girl. And if you're going on those coffee dates expecting something, the only thing you can expect is a miserable relationship. Because so many of you end up in bad relationships because you're okay with average treatment on the first date. Because women still get ready for dates. They get their hair done, their makeup, they smell so good. And men just brush their teeth and shape their beard. And you think it's an equal thing. Of course it's not. So how can he make up for it? First of all, by at least planning a date, something please a little more original than just getting coffee, because I'm getting coffee when I'm doing my laundry, okay? I'm not putting effort into getting coffee.
No.
Woman, he did plan a date. It's called getting coffee. And if you know it's a coffee date, then throw on some casual clothes, make your hair somewhat presentable, and show up with minimal makeup. If you're investing all of that time and money into looking good for yourself, then that's a you problem. Men didn't tell you to do any of that. Most of us couldn't care less. But even with that being said, I thought men were idiotic, vicious psychos who get off on torturing innocent women. And I thought the world was so unsafe that you need to walk around with your keys in your fist as if you're freaking Wolverine. And I thought that unless you have an escort of armed vigilantes as you go to the grocery store at 11 a.m. to buy yourself a pint of Chunky Monkey, then the men aren't going to do enough to keep you safe. So with all of that being said, why in the hell are you getting into the car of a strange man and giving him your address? But I guess charming and hot dudes will make you dumber than you currently are, and that's saying something.
And second of all, by at least bringing you flowers. There is no culture of bringing flowers in America. That's wild to me. That's why women, when they see that a man brings flowers, they lose their minds. Because they're like, that's a gentleman. How did the bar got so low in dating in the US? I don't know, that's scary. So, when you go on the first date and you see that he's not making much effort, that's the most honest thing he can do to you. He's making you a favor for you to go back home and say, thank you for this day, goodbye. Because he is pretty much straight up telling you that he doesn't like you. Because don't overcomplicate men. When they like you, they do things for you. When they don't, they don't. So as always, do whatever you want with this information.
Your intellect is as weak as your dollar. Failure is your destiny. You disrespect yourself and your nation. You are made of stupid.
Oh, well, golly gee willikers, thank you for the permission, sweetheart. You know, I've already decided what I'm going to do with this info. I'm just going to leave you alone. Your ranting is so unattractive that no man is ever going to want to take you out for a proper date. He's not going to want to buy you flowers, and he's not even going to be willing to waste his energy picking up a handful of dandelions for you. He's going to keep you safe by letting you stay at home so you don't have to worry about that dangerous world out there. And he's going to leave you alone so you don't have to feel insulted over getting a cup of coffee. Plus, you're saving money by not having to waste those makeup products that you insist on rubbing into your skin. You've just sifted out the 99% of men who want nothing to do with you, and all that's left are the simps who will give you flowers, dates, and rides home, and you'll still figure out a way to bitch about how he's not putting in any effort. After all, what kind of gentleman would we be if we can't reach that bar you insist on tripping over? And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and be sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.